Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to IVMF VetNet's webinars. My name is Elvis Savdic. I am Post-Program Sports Service Advisor here at IVMF and Alumni Services Department. I hope everybody is well and all of your families are safe and well, because we've been hearing a lot of winter storms happening throughout the mid-states. We also got some here last night as well, and one of our panelist today is not able to make it just because of the winter storm, and she's dealing with her employees, emergency things like shelter, heat, and energy. So I just want to say thank you all for participating. We are recording this webinar, so all of you that have registered will be able to view it later on if you cannot join us today due to power outages. As you know, IVMF is a higher education first interdisciplinary institute that offers and provide services to veteran service members and their families in fields of career, entrepreneurship, vocation, and community services. Just to let you know, today moderating our webinars is our IVMF staff, a veteran, and also a business owner, Anthony Cosby, and he will be also moderating this webinar and talking to you about his own experience as a business owner as well. Anthony, welcome, and thank you again.
Thanks so much, Elvis. I really appreciate the invite. And again, I just want to express our deepest for those who are going through issues with this storm across the country. It's gripped Texas, and but we'll make it through. But thank you all for being here today and taking time out of your day just to learn a little bit. And I think this is going to be invaluable for you. And please share. We're going to have this recorded, and please share with other veteran entrepreneurs around the country that are grinding each and every day to truly enhance their businesses. So again, my name is Anthony Cosby. I am a part of the IVMF team. I've been with IVMF for about 5 years now. I work on the community-based service portfolio. Part of that, I worked on the Onward to Opportunity portfolio. And during those times, I was also able to go through the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans at Texas A&M in 2019. So as a Navy veteran, for me, it's been truly an experience of a lifetime to become an entrepreneur, but also to do webinars like this where we can send a hand back to help others up that are grinding each and every day to get their businesses started, where they're in ideation, where they're startup phase or growth phase. Through the IVMF, we have so many programs and services to help folks get to where they need to be, and we meet them where they are. And I would say during this period of COVID, we've been able to pivot so beautifully last year to go from an in-person traditional content to actually going to content that is virtual, so we can again meet you all where you are in this virtual time during COVID and now during this winter storm. But today I'm very excited to introduce our panel. I do want you guys to know that this is interactive online experience. We do have Elvis and some of our team members in the chat, so please don't hesitate to ask any questions that you might have, and we'll definitely answer those questions for you in a timely manner. So today I'm delighted to have on our panel Ms. Tracy Richberg, Army veteran and owner of Savannah Sauce Company. Welcome, Tracy. And we also have Sherman Williams, who is also an Army veteran, and he is the owner of Body Aqua, a nutrient-enhanced beverage. Thank you all so much, and thank you guys for being here today. So what I want to do is kick this conversation off with introductions, and if you could, each of you take a few minutes to give a quick intro about yourself and let us know a little bit about your business, and let us know if there's anything COVID related that you guys were able to pivot or work through this year. So let's start with you, Tracy, man.
I'm delighted to be here today. My name is Tracy Richberg. I'm an Army veteran and co-owner of Savannah Sauce Company. Our company makes different varieties of sauces, relishes, and barbecue sauce. I've been in business for about 6 years. We started in 2014. We've been doing pretty well. Each year it does a little bit better. We have sauces and other products in Whole Foods in the southern region, and we just got the thumbs up to expand nationwide with our distribution. Um, let's see. Um, During COVID, sales have been up because I think there are more people cooking at home. We had a couple of issues in the beginning with suppliers and manufacturers being closed and them having issues with having to, workers being quarantined. So they were short workers, but we kind of worked around that, and just have been able to increase sales actually a little bit. So that's been, not that it's, it's been something that we were able to work through. So for the most part, with COVID, we weren't affected too much in what we do. We're sold in Whole Foods and also a couple of local outlets. And we also have a restaurant in Fairbanks, Alaska that uses one of our sauces. And there's a couple of places all over the country, and we've shipped products to every state except to North Dakota. So I always joke and say people in North Dakota don't have any taste buds. So.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy. And wow, what an introduction, and congratulations on expanding to Whole Foods nationally. And we definitely have to work on that in North Dakota. I think I can help you out with that. Okay, let's turn it over to Sherman. Sherman, the floor is yours, sir.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Sherman Williams. Served about almost 25 years in the Army, but prior to me getting out, I actually started my venture in my product called Body Aqua. So a lot of people say, what is Body Aqua? They compare it to another vitamin water or another flavor enhanced water, but it's totally different because it's the first diabetic product or beverage that is health skin, which is a cosmetic beverage, as well as the everyday person who may want to just be physically fit without none of the bad stuff. So in regards to saying bad stuff, like fake sugars, colors, and even the combination of being a supplemental versus a nutritional panel. And that's a big difference because supplements can tell you I'm giving you 1,000 grams when they're only giving you 50. So it's not regulated by the FDA. But right now I've been able to benefit during the pandemic in regards to being able to break into Walmart. So we're officially on Walmart.com, which of course is nationwide. But we're in 45 Walmart locations here in Florida, which spans out to Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Gainesville, I believe one in Orlando. But we're expanding, and I actually was able to acquire 2 brokers. So for the beverage company, it's a lot harder for people to know based on where you're trying to go, because you got to deal with what I call the big dogs. So that's Coke and Pepsi, who buys a lot of the things that they have. So you got to understand who you're going against, what the unique differences are, and actually sell yourself in regards to what you're actually offering. And sometimes just being better is not good enough, and actually being a veteran. So that is one of the pivoting points that I was able to help and need to echo, being a veteran, because a lot of times, yeah, we want to say thank you for your service, but at the end of the day, what's really the fact? You want to say I'm from Missouri, show me, don't don't tell me. So, but I'll go into the meat and gritty of a lot of stuff in regards to how I got here, but inspiring. But it was all out of adversity of what I found and dealt with in doing Operation Iraqi Freedom. But other than that, great to be here.
Thank you so much, Sherman. I really appreciate that. And for you and Tracy, I truly appreciate your service. Since being the Navy guy on here and being outweighed by the Army, I truly appreciate that. My father-in-law was Army, and I tell you, I'm here in San Antonio with Fort Sam Houston, so it's Army all day long. But thank you guys for your service. So let's get into a few questions. So I'm sure you all know that no one is born an entrepreneur, and different people take different paths to achieve success. And really, there's no instruction that tells you how to do it. I think we've been through the grind with that. So my question for both of you is, what advice would you provide to someone who is interested in becoming an entrepreneur? And based on your own experience, talk about how you were able to get your business idea from concept to business and any mistakes that you made that folks should avoid and any resources that you use. So let's start off with you, Sherman.
Okay, so some advice that I would give someone interested in becoming an entrepreneur: just believe in yourself as well as having faith in what you're doing. I mean, because a lot of people think it's going to be happening overnight. For me, it's been a 12-year journey, but I really took it serious for about 6 years in regards to after I got to the point I said, okay, now I'm going to do this. So it's a process, and a lot of people are impatient. So, and understanding your dynamics, and of course, a business plan. People say, oh, what's your business plan? And you say it's in your head. No, it can't be in your head. You actually need to write it down to understand what steps and where you've been able to go, because even that business plan is a living document. It actually changes as you go along. So going into the next piece, how did I get my idea in business, avoid mistakes? A lot of things is trial and error in regards, but if one thing I know is understanding the scope of what you're providing. So for me, it was a lot harder because having a product that was going to go into a store, it couldn't be made in the kitchen. So a lot of products today that are beverages are actually made in the kitchen, and they're not FDA approved, they're not tested, shelf life, the whole nine like that, even label reviews. So all of these things are required in a product that I have, because for me, having a drink, you have to consume it. It seems like more people are more plausible to try foods and sauces versus a drink. I'm like, man, this is crazy. But anyway, from that, once it broke Walmart, people felt safer to actually start exploring, like, oh, okay, Walmart has it. And especially when I was in Whole Foods as well. But things are different now in the pandemic because you can't do taste tests. So the mistakes to avoid is not making too much. Just try to make enough to present to the people that you're trying to sell it to. Kind of proving your concept. Based on the weight of your product plays a difference too, because you can go online, but weight and cost eat up all your profit. So, and that's where I was too, because I did sell it online for a little while, but for me, it cost exactly $14.30 for one case. And that's just to ship. That's not including making the product, the packaging, the labels, the whole nine. So at the end of the day, I would actually break even or lose money. So these are the things you have to look at, what you're considering or able to do moving forward. And of course, your idea and concept have to be solid. You can tweak a couple of things, but you gotta be wary, because now people are like, well, it's too close to something else. So, for example, Gatorade and Powerade. Why would somebody want to bring in another sports drink? So you have to be realistic too when you're moving forward, and be able to define specifically why your product is different and it's better in regards to not just in taste, but it has to be in cost as well, especially to compete, regardless of how good it is, because you're not a brand yet, so like Gucci and Gucci and then I call Pro Kids, so everybody can afford Pro Kids, but everybody can't afford Gucci. So you can't have a Gucci price in regards to your product or what it is, your services, when no one knows and you haven't proven yourself. So that's all I have on that take.
Thanks so much, Sherman. Let's hear from Tracy.
Yes. Coming up with a business idea. I mean, I always tell people that just getting into the sauce and condiment business was totally unintended, and we weren't looking to start a business at all. We were on vacation, and there was a couple that we met at this festival who were selling sauces. So we went over and tasted it, and it was pretty good. And while we were purchasing, we saw that they had distributorships available. So we were like, this will be something that we can do on the weekends, part-time and everything like that. And just that part-time thing that we were thinking that we wanted to do ended up being full-time. I would say that to research and learn everything that you can do about the industry. After we had started the business and we were actually selling, that is when we went back and looked at the industry, what was trending. And that is how we got some of the flavor combinations we came up with. Like we started out with hot sauces at a time when hot sauces were big, and I still think they're kind of big. There's another thing like bacon. So we're like developing a bacon jam. You just got to see what the industry is trending and kind of what people want, what's new. And if you can go with that, you can go with that. I would also say to tap into community resources like the SBA and programs like EBV and VWise and Veteran Edge. I went to all of them and learned so much information and so many contacts and so many resources that I was able to resource and to go back and tap into later. I would say when you're considering a business idea, that you make sure that there's a market for what you want to sell or what you want to do, because you can have the greatest idea out there, but if people don't want it, it's not going to go very far. It's just like saying, if you want to sell ice cream, you have to know that maybe in the wintertime, depending where you are, your sales are going to go down. So it's just knowing that industry and knowing what people want that'll help you to be successful. That's probably about it.
No, that was great. I really appreciate it. And we did get a question for Sherman from the audience, and it was relating to manufacturing, Sherman. And how did you get your manufacturing off the ground for a beverage product?
Well, manufacturing, it actually finding the right manufacturer, and unfortunately, it's in every state. You want to try to find one closer to you. So I actually went through 4 different manufacturers because they're called co-packers. So based off beverages, the co-packing is based off the kind of bottle that is allowed through their machinery, as well as if it's a hot fill or a cold fill. And people don't realize if you use a hot fill, that takes a different type of bottle versus the cheaper regular cold fill, which is the regular spring water. And you can tell that plastic can just rip up by, everybody can be Incredible Hulk with those bottles. But looking through the internet, Google, and just trying to find out those. But when I was also producing my product, meaning through the company, they also provided a list of co-packers as well. But be mindful, try to find the ones that make a minimum amount, but also it's going to cost you more because they're not making as much. So the more you make, the cheaper it is. But unfortunately, you're going to spend money regardless out front in the realms of, let me see, I just got, for example, 4 pallets made. Those 4 pallets cost me roughly $25,000 for just 4 pallets of water, which comes out to about 108 cases. It's like 1,296 bottles per pallet to be exact. So, and that's 16-ounce bottles. So you have to be wary, like, due to the fact I did that because I had an outlet to sell it. So if you create that, you got to say, okay, I need to hit the flea markets or whatever. But even then, people pause because there's a lemonade stand guy he's selling $2-3 just regular dirty lemonade because the machine, who cleans that machine, and thinking, oh, what are they doing? But the manufacturing is based off your state, as well as the bottle, as well as the type of product, because they have different ones. So I don't know if yours is going to be a cold fill or hot fill. That plays a big difference. If it's mineral infused, or if it's in California, now you're going to pay an arm and a leg. Like there's like a $3 to $4 difference, and from getting produced in Texas, from like a $7 tip difference to getting made in California, and I believe it's a $5 difference in New Jersey. So it depends on where you want to do, but I can actually help you if you're trying to find a manufacturer, and you just have to figure out what you can afford to do.
Thanks so much, Sherman. And Jennifer, we'll definitely make sure that you guys get contact information for both our panelists. Thank you for that, Sherman. Appreciate it. And for Tracy, Leonard has a question, and it's something that I think most entrepreneurs go through. I know for me as an entrepreneur, I've gone through it. But it talks about, did you get discouraged? And if so, how did you turn it around and get back on the grind? Tracy.
You know, our first year, I think we sold $90 in product. And, you know, we were just kind of like, well, you know, we know all businesses kind of start out, well, not all, I mean, some take off running, you know, but a lot of businesses, they start out, you know, slow and have to build their sales. I think the second year we might have done maybe 180. So we kind of thought of it as like, we doubled our sales, even though it wasn't a big amount, but we doubled our sales. I would probably say, you know, you have to have a positive outlook. And for those that think, you know, I'm going to be a millionaire in the first year, it doesn't always happen. So you just have to be realistic with your expectations. If you get discouraged, you know, you can reach out to other business owners to see maybe where you might be going wrong, you know, what you need to do, things you need to look at. It's just a lot of things, but I would just say, you know, be persistent and just know that sometimes things are going to go slowly, and just believe in your idea and what you're trying to do.
Thank you so much for that. Definitely. I can celebrate the wins when you have the opportunity to, right? Even if they're big or small. But for both of you guys, another question from the audience, and we'll throw this one to Sherman. How have you guys been able to, in the mind of COVID, how have you guys been able to adjust or even differently, do things differently due to COVID? I know that you spoke on a little bit earlier, Tracy, where you guys kind of had an impact and your sales are up. But with Sherman, in your sense, I know that you recently got into Walmart. Just talk about how you've been able to either work with your manufacturers, work with your team during the light of COVID.
Well, COVID, to me, was a blessing in disguise. We were already scheduled to go into Walmart, but it actually prolonged it. But them prolonging it made me understand that I needed to increase my variety. So before I just had my cosmetic beverage and fitness beverage, but during COVID, I actually expanded. I have a well water, which is an alkaline mineral infused line, as well as a kids aqua, which is specifically for kids in fitness. So I used that time to actually bring up my variety pack and actually was able to create samples just for retailers doing that. And now, and I know Tracy's aware of that, Whole Foods used to let you go in and just do samples. COVID has really hindered that. And even to the point of not letting the owners actually go in anymore free. You know, everything costs. So to do a demo, to push your product that they're selling to make even more money, costs you money now. So for me, I actually had to find a local, pretty decent marketing firm to actually stop pushing the envelope, because, you know, when you try to talk to someone, they run off, you know. So COVID has really been an issue, and I think it's going to last the remaining of the year. So you don't want to eat up these last remaining eight to 10 months we have, I believe, because we have Veteran Edge that's scheduled for October, I believe. So hopefully things will be back to kind of normal, but that's really been an issue, and it takes more money to hire a firm, and based off the amount needed, we're going to spend at least $1,000 to $3,000 every month to try to bring up your awareness. But not just that, you want it to equate to sales. That's what everything is about. But they gotta know your brand. So for us, it's been very challenging, and it is still a challenge now. And hoping Congress get off their butt and pass the stimulus. So that's,
No,
that's about it.
thanks for that, Sherman. Appreciate it. And for Tracy, if I can get from you, I know that Sherman is not so much on the e-commerce side. What about you? Well, I take that back. I know Walmart is selling it online. What about your percentage of sales? What are they online? Because you might have some folks right here on the call that want to get your products. So if you could just kind of give us the business piece of what percentage of sales are online for you, and then we'll go back to Sherman. And I think we just had Denise to join as well. So let's go into Tracy on this one for right now.
I'm not sure, because like when we sell to Whole Foods and other retailers, we sell by the case. When we're sold online, it's sold by the individual bottle, but people sometimes order cases. I would probably say maybe 30 to 40% is online. And sometimes you have to boost that. Like we got a program and we haven't used it before, but somebody told us about it, and it's called Constant Contact. So we kind of took all the email addresses from people who have ordered in the past couple of years and made a database. And every now and then I'll send out coupons. And then every time I do that, sales kind of pick up a little bit. So, I mean, you have to be active on social media, which sometimes I'm kind of slack on, but I'm trying to do better. But just reaching out to customers, because just like Sherman said, we used to be able to go in Whole Foods just about any time we wanted to do demos. Once people usually are able to taste your product, they might be more inclined to purchase rather than something that they're going to spend $8, $9 on, something that they might not even like. Another thing is that we used to do a lot of festivals and markets, and during 2020, all of them were gone. So hopefully this year there'll be more that comes back up. We were able to do a farmers market that we usually participate in September to November. So we had, August. It was about 5 months that we were able to do that, and we were able to sample, just wear masks, social distancing as much as we could. So that was really good. And, we didn't intend on doing, business to customer sales in the beginning. We just wanted to do B2B and have that, over with, because we were just like people. People like to complain, so we were able to do the market and able to have people test and able to actually talk to people. And it was good because being in Savannah and being in a tourist town, people did buy, and then they go home and then they tell other people about it. And then we get more sales online. So I would think probably, like I said, 30 to 40% of sales are probably online.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Sherman, what about you?
Well, for me, about 20% is online and 80% is in the brick and mortars, because 45 stores having your product, and the traffic that Walmart has, it actually increased, and they automatically order every week, and I can see the difference. And then online, I have I guess three different outlets. So for those that may get it from me personally, of course, I'll sell them a case, and everything's by the case. There's no individuals. So with Walmart.com, it's a little cheaper than my website because it has to be comparable. But when I do it on Walmart, I lose money because I'm not really including the shipping costs, but I include it on my website. So for me, it's 80-20. And as I grow, and people, for example, aren't close to the Walmarts here or different places, because I even shipped to Germany and Korea already. So those costs and having to figure out those are very beneficial, because people want your product and you want it out there. So these are the things you have to consider, especially in business. Like, do I want to make money? Yes. Do you want to at least try to break even? Definitely. But breaking even really will help you, because just having the presence of being in one, especially Whole Foods, because I used to be in Whole Foods, but unfortunately for me, I wasn't local enough because I got into the southeast portion, which is like Georgia, but I live in Florida, and Florida has a different whole region of Whole Foods. So they kind of like stopped looking at me as a veteran and more local, especially after Amazon acquisition that changed. But actually the door opened for me, which made it easier for me because Walmart is my distributor. They actually pick up for me. So they're a lot more helpful and save on costs if you're able to establish those things.
And I just want to add one more thing.
Yes,
since we're in Whole Foods, even like this past year, where Whole Foods has us listed on Amazon for their click and ship type thing or a grocery pickup. So that's also increased sales too, as people are getting groceries delivered and doing pickup. So, I mean, they don't necessarily have to go to the store to get our products or to purchase, on our website, because shipping is expensive. We have glass everything. So a lot of times people will complain about the cost of shipping, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, But then other times people will order a lot and they don't even bat an eye about paying $30, $40 for shipping. So it's just the market that you have. It's what the market is willing to pay.
No, great points from both of you guys. I really appreciate that. And I know our audience do as well. But we're going to take a little pause and bring in Denise Townsend, who is Army veteran and owner of Spectra Cargo Logistics, and give her an opportunity to introduce herself. So Denise, if you could, please take a few moments and introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, Anthony. Thank you so much. I apologize, guys, for kind of jumping on the call late. It has been, really, really crazy with all the weather here in Dallas-Fort Worth. And my hair is a mess, so I'm not on video. I have been up all night and early this morning just trying to figure everything out. So bear with me through this. I appreciate, you guys letting me just kind of say a few words, I guess. But yes, my company is Spectra Cargo and Logistics. We've been in business almost 2 years, working with, Amazon as our customer. And so our job is to deliver packages, to customers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So right now our drivers haven't been working, so it has been truly, truly challenging, just trying to, number one, keep their safety, at the forefront. You guys probably have heard about the fatalities and things that have happened in the Dallas-Fort Worth area due to all the weather. So just trying to navigate all of that, trying to keep them safe and off the road, but then also trying to figure out, how do I find resources for them, because, they're living paycheck to paycheck. And so when they're having power outages, they're trying to figure out, they're sleeping in their cars and trying to find shelter. And so that's what I'm managing today and trying to figure all of that out with everything else that's going on. So other than that, I don't know, what other question did you have for me, Anthony?
No, that's a great segue because what we can do, we'll keep you on this one because, one of the things that, I know, and I'm sure all of the panelists know, is that it's great to be your own boss. And that's the title of this webinar, being your own boss. But sometimes with being your own boss, just like you said, you have a whole lot of things that you have to do as being the owner of a business. And so with that, what can you tell us about some of the risks and sacrifices that you've made as an entrepreneur in working with Amazon?
Oh my goodness, you sacrifice your time, first of all. You're gonna give up your whole life, pretty much. And I think every entrepreneur will probably be able to recognize and understand that fully. Your time does, like I said, it no longer becomes your time anymore. It's, you have to think about your employees, you have to think about your customers. You have your internal customers, you have your external customers. And so you're sacrificing probably all of your time, I would say. So you have to be fully invested, absolutely fully invested. Once you jump in, there's just really no turning back from it. You also have to consider, the balance of work and life. You still have a family and things that you have to take care of, and you have to take care of yourself too. So you have to be mentally, prepared for this as well. Nobody tells you that, right? that you have to be mentally strong and be able to carry the weight of changes that are happening that that are out of your control. And so there's been a lot of sacrifice that I think that I wasn't totally prepared for. But you make adjustments along the way, right? This is what we signed up for. It's still exciting and fun and different every single day at the same time. But at the same time, you have a job to do. And so we just go out and try to do that every day.
Perfect. No, thank you. That was a great example. Let's go to Sherman. Same question for you, Sherman.
For me is, I mean, she pretty much said everything, but it depends on everyone's will and understanding that the role won't be easy, because unfortunately everyone ain't built the same. Even though we might read the same book, you ain't gonna have the same outcome. And I tell a lot of people that in regards to that read books on how to do it or how they did it, that will never work again. Those same exact steps, just like going to the gym, you can do the exact same exercise, you're gonna have different results. One might have bigger shoulders, the other one might have bigger arms, for example. But you did the exact same amount of reps, weights, but had different results. So based off your understanding of where you want to go and enduring the stress, and trust me, men break down too. So I've broken down. I'm humble, I'm appreciative, but I'm also a veteran. So it's different because you appreciate life, especially if you've been in combat. It just changes your whole outlook on, this is not right. I'm going to persevere and make a difference regardless. It's just that we're not respected on so many fronts, especially business, because you're not local, you're not this. But I'm a veteran, and veterans actually are better, suited and have the integrity that so many other businesses and products don't have. It just, they skew and line the truth, in regards to what's really happening and falsehood. So that's what I have to do. And it's just costly because it's educating people of how the other products are killing you slowly because they're feeding bad cells in your body over time. And then you say, go to your doctor, oh, you have a cancer cell or something. And that's what happens from all of these shortcuts that they're taking in creating sweeteners and other things that are not natural, even pH balance, but I'm not gonna go into that. But it's all up to the person, and understand and be ready for the fight, because people won't respect you. They won't think that you know your business, you don't know your craft, and that's the key. You have to know what you're doing and know what you're saying, because I can't speak on sauces and things of that nature, or in the transportation realm of shipping, especially dealing with Amazon. But you have your own experience. But for me, I couldn't use Amazon because they took too much money from me, because it's on three fronts, from warehouse fees, the membership fees, and cost fees, meaning after you sell something. So I've been a part of that too, and know I've good and bad to be a part of Whole Foods as well as Amazon, and know that those didn't really work out for me because they didn't support my whole structure to be able to ship productively and efficiently, to break down costs for those companies to say, hey, I care. And the only one that's working for me right now is actually Walmart, that's saying, I care. They're picking up the product and it's no additional cost. So you have to, like you say, make those connections and people that really want to try to help you build. Other than that, you're just like the other guy, especially if it's a contract, for example. So that's all I have to say on that.
No, thanks so much for that, Sherman. And Tracy, let's go over to you for that question.
I would say that you always have that risk of losing your money, losing investments, just being discouraged about what's not going right. That's always going to be there, but that's just a risk that you need to be prepared for and kind of think ahead, okay, if this happens, how am I going to turn that around? Or if this happens, just have just a general roadmap in your head about, okay, if this happens, what can I do to survive it, to prolong it, to kind of turn things around? And I would also say, just like Denise said about these sacrifices, is time. When I quit my job and started, helped to start this, I was like, boy, I'm going to have so much free time to do other things. Negative. I wake up thinking about things. I go to bed thinking about things. I don't even think, even when I'm sleeping, I dream about things. So I would probably just say, be prepared to be invested in time with running your business, and just money and time. And seeing our products are all natural and preservative free. So, I mean, how much it's going to cost to develop your product, to bottle your product. So sometimes you have to have your price a little bit higher than some people are willing to pay or want to pay. Nobody wants to exclude anybody from wanting to purchase your good, even your service. But sometimes that's just the nature of the beast. You can't lower your price to where you're not turning a profit. You just have to reach out to those people and find that market where people are willing to pay. You can't necessarily sell to everyone, because everyone's not going to want that product at what you have it for. But you just have to focus on those people who will, and that kind of sustains and carries you through.
No, great point. Great point. And I hope that everybody that's on this call listened to all those 3 points, because they were spot on.
Anthony, can I add one other thing?
Yep. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add one more thing, that, being your boss and being your own boss, the risk of failure. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs that come, they want to become an entrepreneur, that sometimes we don't remember that the risk of failure is there. Every job, every business is not set up for success. And I think that it's important that entrepreneurs, understand that this is really hard. It's a lot of work too. Like Tracy just mentioned too, I mean, just the time, and also we didn't talk about the financing, you got to pay for this too. But I think that, again, the risk of failure is always there. As entrepreneurs, we're going to always try to get back up, and we're going to do something different. Like Sherman mentioned, okay, that didn't work out for you in your business model. And so you just pivoted, right, and decided you're going to do something different. But I do want to point out that risk of failure is absolutely there, and new entrepreneurs definitely have to keep that in mind as well.
No, great points, and thank you for adding that. And we're going to stay with you for this next question, Denise. And one of the things that I truly believe is we all have an opportunity to look back at those moments that has made us smile. Looking back over the last year, just the last year, from each of you all, what has been the highlight of your year, and talk to us about it, how it made you feel.
Okay. And you said you're starting with me?
Yep, please.
Okay, so the highlight of 2020, oh my goodness, what happened great in 2020? Okay, let me try to find something in there. I'll say that we did hit, a couple of milestones, running routes and, that sort of thing in our business, and trying to move trucks and product is not very easy. Anyone who knows it's in this transportation business. So to hit some of those milestones of, getting to your 40 routes or running 50 routes a day, those sort of things have been some milestones. We also, hit goals of reaching, 500,000 packages. And so, in a year's time, and meeting those type of goals. We got up to 100 and I think 15 employees in 2020. So we've had some successes for sure in 2020, and there's been a lot of changes to go along with that as well. But we did take the moment to celebrate our anniversaries, for our employees as well as the company in 2020 as well. So those were some moments to smile about, so I'll just leave it at that.
No, thank you. Very good milestones. Let's go to Tracy. What about you?
Last year we were able to expand retail outlets with Whole Foods in the southern region, and the southern region encompasses Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee. And I think I mentioned earlier that we were kind of just given the green light to expand nationwide. And so we're kind of not apprehensive, but I know we have some challenges as opposed to what we have been doing with doing deliveries, in the southern region. Oh, we got into Florida too. So that's another region we got into. Just some challenges in, just logistics and how to get it there and how to warehouse, and then also, how to do sampling when the stores allow that again. Whether we need to contract with people to go in. I think here locally, Whole Foods was doing some tasting, and we really got to know some of the employees in Savannah. So there was one guy, Dean, who works in meats and seafood. He would actually do samples and actually have some of our products. He would do salmon, sweet bourbon salmon or sweet chili salmon or something like that, that was sold in the cases. So if you are if the stores allow it, and it's also, even if they don't, it's also good to develop relationships with employees. We would stop in, give them a gift basket of sausage, have them try sauces and have them try things out. And in turn, when they're stopped by customers, can you recommend this for fish, or can you recommend this for pork? And they would say, why don't you try Savannah Sauce Company sweet chili? So we know for a fact they were doing that because they would tell us, so just having that relationship in the store with people can help also. But like I said, the highlight of last year would probably just expanding into different markets and getting new stores.
No, very cool. Thank you so much. Sherman, what about you?
I would say my highlight was getting into Whole Foods finally, Walmart finally at the end of 2020, but also able to build the actual team. So the team and being able to actually focus a message, because of course I had a drink beverage, but what are the dynamics of where I wanted to go? So the key during this timeline was actually say, we're going to focus on the cosmetic beverage, because there is none. It's the only one. So now that is actually being pushed, and it actually have a lot of testimonials, because as people age, they don't want to look their age. Regardless of what you eat or drink, you're not getting the right amount of nutrients. Only Body Aqua, especially the cosmetic beverage, provides every key nutrient you're supposed to have on a daily basis. That actually supports your skin, which is the largest organ of the body, but most neglected. So that message toning in and actually collaborating with certain personnel was actually to develop for me to be premiered on the Newsjack's channel this past Thursday during Black History Month, as well as going on Channel 17 for a segment interview that's supposed to play in the first week of March to actually help build up the awareness. But for the dynamics of whoever or whatever product or service that you're actually skewing, you have to identify the key things that separate yourself. So me able to separate myself to actually push the cosmetic beverage trademark it finally in 2020, because I had to actually create a category. So the trademark lawyer had to actually say there is none. So she actually had to make that category for me to trademark it. So there's certain things that you need to ensure of that you do. And of course, everything costs. So regardless of what's going on, it takes money. It takes a lot of money sometimes, especially if you're trying to do it the right way, So as you know, testing, insurance, the list goes on, especially when you start taking on employees. But that was the one good thing that milestone that happened in 2024.
Well, thank you for that. I know we're getting close to it. I do have one question that I want to make sure that we able to answer for our audience. But if you guys could quickly talk about how you do your market analysis and how you come up with the key things that you need to work on. Let's stick with you, Sherman.
For me, I actually just talked to my marketing person this morning, Allison, that's trying to build up the algorithm. So it's different based off the location and what you're trying to do to actually get people not only to like or to share, but actually get engaged. So it's really having a marketing plan. And I just actually hired my marketing team or company now that's actually invested and believe in what I'm doing. Because a lot of companies, they'll do or say, but they don't really believe in what you're doing, you know. And I don't want to take a lot of time. I want everybody else to get into this too. So you just have to understand who you're dealing with and understand the dynamics of who you're appealing to. So for me, it can be arranged from that young girl that's starting to put on makeup, 6 years old, all the way up to 60, based off that group of women. And of course, it can be men who really cares about the way they look, especially at a younger age to maintain it. And then, of course, for those who are older, that trying to get some of that sexy back, you can say. So that was, I can say on that for me for marketing.
Thank you. Tracy.
When we started out, we kind of had an idea of who we wanted to buy our product just by saying, okay, you know, this is the price we want to sell it at. These are the flavors. Who do we think are going to buy it? And then when we actually did our research on our market, we were kind of spot on with that. Market research comes from just searching on the internet. Being a graduate of EBV, we were given access to like industry trends and white papers, which were very beneficial. So I would just say, just search the internet, see what you can find on the internet, and, just search your market industry trends, and kind of pay attention to who's buying or who's subscribing or who is interested in what you have. And you can kind of work off from there and then just kind of, develop, kind of personality or personnel profile of who you're dealing with and who you're working with. So.
Perfect. No, thank you. Denise, what about you?
So I would say our market analysis and what we use, obviously we're trying to, hone in on customer buying patterns, right? What are their buying habits? And we want to know how many customers are in a particular service area. So we rely on some information and data from like the Census Bureau, or we'll look at the local, oh goodness, I can't think of the name of it right now, but basically we're looking at local housing development. The more houses that we see that are being developed in an area will determine how many new customers that we could potentially gain. So we are looking at those customer segments and pretty much the buying patterns for both the residential side of it as well as our commercial business customers as well. And so we just kind of pull that data to bring it into our market analysis for expansion and growth.
Perfect. No, I really appreciate that. And folks, we got one more question for you guys. If you can take 30 seconds for the next question. And truly, is as we conclude here with this amazing panel and webinar, being your own boss, what advice would you give individuals looking to start their business? And let's go to Sherman.
Quickly, just like you said, know your industry, know what you're doing, do the research, how much it's going to cost, how much you have, and in that plan to actually try to follow it and knowing that's a living document. That's pretty much it in regards to the straight and narrow of being your own boss. It's honestly knowing where you want to be in your goals, because you can have milestones, but what's your ultimate goal? And for me, I want to be worldwide. It's good to be in a couple of stores throughout the nation, but I want to own my category. And that's just me. I'm not in it just to play games. I'm ready for the takeover. So knowing where you want to be, that's all I have to add to that.
Thank you. Miss Tracy.
I would say, don't be afraid to ask for help, reach out to other business owners. There's always that chance, and there's probably a 100% chance that they are going through something you're going through right now, and you can get some information from them. And also for us, it has been about telling your story. People kind of connect to you when you tell them how you got started, what you're about, what you believe in, and then that gives them a way to connect with you, even with like other businesses and, retail outlets that you're trying to get into. Just tell them what you're about and, be honest about, what you want to do, how you got started. And a lot of times that connection goes a long way.
Perfect. Thank you. Denise.
So I would say my advice would be for an entrepreneur to dream big, dream often, never let go of that dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Write down your ideas, plan things out. If you see it on paper, I promise you it will come to life. It will come up off the paper, those words. Also find a mentor, someone to coach you and to give you direction. And to also have a really, really great cheerleading squad. It's very important to have people who support you and who believe in your ideas and just want to encourage you along the way. And so those will be my best advice and tips.
Wow, what an amazing panel. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. And on behalf of the IVMF, keep grinding each and every day. I hope that our guests enjoyed the panel. If you could, take a brief moment. You guys are going to get a 1 to 2 minute survey. And we would love your feedback. At the IVMF, we're totally transparent, as all of our panelists know. And everything that we try to do is to get better each and every day with helping veterans and military families. And in this case, helping entrepreneurs who are grinding each and every day. Might fail a few days, but I tell you, the heart of a veteran is so amazing, especially the heart of a veteran entrepreneur. So for Miss Denise, Tracy, Sherman, thank you guys so much. I will be ordering from you all. And for Miss Denise, I will promote your business as much as I can. If you need talent, please ask me, because we have a lot of people that come through our other programs through IVMF that would love to work for you, that are living in the DFW area. And for Sherman, my 9-year-old daughter wants to be #1 in the world in tennis by age 9. So we're gonna get some aqua cases and see how it's going. And for Miss Tracy, I'm the chef at home, so I am going to be getting cases of your sauce and cooking it on my fish and pork and everything else.
All right.
So
well,
thank you guys
so much, Anthony.
so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you guys.
Thank you
All
guys.
right.